Just give people with locks with you give us options, because I wanted a cute, like, curly, fun summer style, but I didn't want to do the invisible locks. They're too heavy. This just feels like my hair. It doesn't feel like there's nothing added, and it gives it a whole different look. Like, I'm out here wetting baby.
No, that's right. That's right. We're getting this lock girly ready for the summer with a beautiful and colorful boho look. So if you want to see how we achieve the viral mermaid lock look with no crochet hooks, make sure you stay tuned. Today's video is brought to us by Eayon Hair. They sent me over 4 bundles of their 18-inch feather crochet in deep wave. The color on this is T1B30, so it is an ombre with the 1B at the top and the 30 at the bottom, and there are 50 strands of feather crochet per bundle. I've gotten a few messages about the confusion about the strand count. When you are purchasing these bundles, these are 50 full strands. They're double-ended, so that means when you fold them in half, there's 2 dangling from that strand, so it's really 100 strands dangling. This is how my model came in today. She has been a full lock girly for over 4 years now. This is all of her natural hair, and it is color treated on the ends. She came out of 2-strand twists. That's why she kind of has this crinkle effect. But we're going to go ahead and retwist her up because her last retwist was about 6 weeks ago, and we want her to look fresh for this style today. Whenever we do a retwist on a client, we do a full wash and condition. The products I'm using are, of course, from the Braided Beauty collection. I'm using the Braid Lock Glaze for the retwist itself, and it is also done on wet hair. You'll also notice that I'm doing something called locksmithing instead of palm rolling. This is something that I learned a few years ago, and I like this method much better because it helps wrap the strands around the lock in the same direction, and it helps the hair lock faster after a retwist on the new growth, and helps reduce frizz and keeps your retwist from coming undone. This is a fast-paced movement, so it does take some practice, but essentially you're just rolling the hair against your index finger and your thumb in the same direction. I did not do a full lock count, and she also did not know her lock count, but it is important for you to know your lock count if you are going to do this style, because I am going to be attaching crochet at the ends of every single one of her locks. If I had to guess, I think she had about 80 to 100 locks, and I ended up using all 4 bundles, which would have been 200 strands of crochet. Before the appointment, she did express that she was concerned that it would be too heavy. As you can see from the beginning of the video, it's not heavy at all, even with all 4 bundles. Her locks were already waist length, so we decided that we would start adding the pieces a little bit further up the shaft so that it wouldn't be too long. If we had the option, I would have gotten about 2 bundles of the hair in the full color 30 so that the ombre would look more seamless and match her natural hair color. But since all of the hair is ombre, that's why you'll see kind of like a ribbon of black around the bottom half of her hair. Installing these couldn't have been any easier. What you want to do is loop the hair around the lock and pull it all the way through. You want to make sure both ends of that thread goes all the way through. The texture of the lock combined with the looping method is going to keep those pieces in place. It's not going to move. It does pay to take your time with this. The slower you move, the more seamless it is to pull it through. If you work too fast, sometimes the hair will get caught and you're gonna have to start all over again. So you'll see that with each one, I'm kind of taking my time to make sure that each end is pulled all the way through and that it is gripping the lock in a way that it's not going to come loose. Again, you see how both of the ends of the thread are pulled all the way through. This is very important. So the size of your locks is going to matter as well. She has the perfect size locks for this method. If her locks were larger, we may have had to visit actually crocheting it through the lock, but she had the perfect density for this method. So for the back portion of her hair, I only added pieces to the ends of her locks. I didn't want to add too much at the top, kind of close to her nape nape, because that's of course where all of the matting comes into play. And because this hair is going to be rubbing up against her natural hair as well, it's more prone to frizzing and tangling. So we also wanted to address her concerns about it being too heavy with the addition of the hair to it. So I was very intentional about, one, adding them to the ends, and then going back and spacing things out evenly so that we get the full look without too much hair being added to it or too much weight being added to it. And as you can see from the beginning of the video, it is feather lightweight. She can't even tell it's on her head, and she has a lot of volume. So basically I added one to every single end of her locks, and then I went back and I kind of stood back and I placed pieces kind of where they would fill in some gaps. I also want you to consider we went through a full 4 bundles of hair because of her length. Because she had more length on her hair, we needed more hair to kind of fill in the space all the way throughout. If you have shorter locks, you may not need as many. So this is why counting how many locks you have is going to be really important. When I got closer to her roots and the fullness at the top of her head, I did not feel the need to crochet anything through her roots. Her locks were full and dense enough to hold it with the method that we're using today. But again, the method that you choose to use is going to highly depend on the size and density of your locks. The smaller they are, the less likely it's going to be able to hold with this method, and the larger they are, the less likely they are to hold with this method because of the length of the string. The only con I have with mermaid locks using feather crochet is that the hair is not necessarily reusable, because the only way to kind of get them out is to cut them out. It's not really one of those I can put oil on it and loosen it up type of things. You will get frustrated unless you have the time to do that. So the only way I was able to get them off successfully is to cut them off. Overall, this is a beautiful option for the lock girlies, especially if you want to switch things up. When doing my research on this, I did find a lot of girls reporting that they were keeping these in for months on end. Again, this is human hair, so you can just care for it like you would any other human boho style. As always, if you learned something new, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and share it with a friend. Special thanks to our friends over at Eayon Hair for sponsoring today's video. All the information you need about this hair and products used will be listed in the description box below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!